everyone, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, so don't forget to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Make sure you guys follow the show, follow thy network. So without further ado, we're going to jump on into our third segment. We recently talked about WWE Monday Night Raw talk. We talked about my reactions to the Royal Rumble. Now we're going to talk about some Triple H, Paul Levesque era. I feel like overall he's been doing a stand-up job. Oh, also make sure you guys hit up those super chats. Definitely helps the network 1,010%. Plus, it's a great way to make sure you guys' voices are heard on the pod. But without, I feel like overall Triple H, he's been doing such a stand-up job as the CEO of WWE. After his father-in-law Vince McMahon stepped down, there was a lot of not doubts per se, but it's Vince McMahon's company. It's Vince McMahon's company. Triple H, according to an interview with Kevin Nash, his longtime friend, said that if Vince was going to come back, he wasn't going to be anything a part of WWE. You've seen Vince come back, then you saw... Sorry, excuse me. I'm sick. I apologize. Then you saw Stephanie McMahon resign from her position. I feel like this is exactly the way it has to go. If you're Triple H and somehow magically Vince McMahon comes back into the WWE, you kind of have to cut your losses here. You don't want to be in business with a guy with that much, heat and baggage and all the allegations and the, everything. Like it would be a killer in your career. It wouldn't surprise me if Triple H retired if Vince McMahon would ever come back. Vince McMahon said in an interview as well that he felt like he never wanted to retire from WWE, and that is absolutely horrifying. That is definitely something that I wake up in the middle of the night, cold sweat, and I'm like, Vince McMahon's coming. I'm just kidding. No. All in all, paying my respects to, for what he did what he did for WWF and WWE. He made it into a huge entertainment conglomerate. Wasn't the best way. Still, me saying that kind of makes you want to throw up in my mouth. But I don't know. Let's move on. Let's talk about the game, the cerebral assassin. We're gonna talk about some Triple H. And Royal Rumble is the beginning of who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. PW Insider reports that WWE CCO Triple H Paul Levesque will headline the 2025 class of Hall of Fame. I've seen a lot of baggage. I've seen a lot of people trying to bash Triple H of, the moment he makes, all the creative decisions, of course, he's going to, induct himself in the Hall of Fame. If you've been paying attention to WWE, you've been paying attention to him backstage, him talking to not just the people that he used to work with, now WWE legends. When you see him talking backstage with the superstars, superstar morale is at an all-time high in backstage at WWE. And you gotta, you definitely got, it's not really on edge. Vince McMahon controlled absolutely anything. If you so much, coughed, and it wasn't in the storyline, you probably would have got fired or made fun of on live television. But like I said, I feel like Triple H, he deserves this. He does. He definitely does. The respect that he has between him and the UFC CCO, Dana White, able to come up with this TKO merger. And it was just something that took WWE to new heights. Him and Nick Khan talking to, Netflix, talking to Saudi Arabia, talking to Paris, the United Kingdom, talking to, everybody, absolutely everybody. He wants WWE on the map. He wants people to fall in love with the business like he did. If you have to make anybody into this quote-unquote boss, and I'll use this as an example. I work at a restaurant. If some guy just randomly comes in, starts being head chef or the manager, and he doesn't really understand the culture, the chemistry, just overall, just the roots and the backbone of your company, and then comes in and tries to make it into his own. No, that doesn't happen. That's the reason why you see a lot in, big time corporations. You see a lot of people who perhaps they love to promote within. They want somebody who started from the bottom, worked their way up to the top, to the middle, understands basically every aspect from the little guy to the medium guy and to the higher power, of the company. Triple H, he was perfect. He's perfect for the WWE. I would not want to see anybody else. sorry, excuse me, want to see anybody else in his position right now. It would be absolutely monstrous. Maybe The Undertaker. Maybe The Undertaker. You know, Shawn is on NXT, which is exactly where he belongs. You know, when Triple H was when he was the head of the, the black and gold era of NXT, they did so damn well. They did so damn freaking well. Big stars. They had giant stars who got promoted to WWE main roster thinking that it was going to be great. But then he ran into an old Vince McMahon who would forget what storyline he chose the week before, and then it would just mess up a lot of the reputation of some of the younger talent, and that's the reason why a lot of people left, frustrated with storylines like Aleister Black, Dean Ambrose, Keith Lee, Ember Moon, Sasha Banks, and Naomi. But then Naomi ended up coming back. Daniel Bryan. There was a lot of questionable storylines back in the day. And then they never really got the respect. They never really got their chance in WWE, and it just it sucked for them. But obviously Athena in Ring of Honor, she's doing well. Keith Lee, he was on AEW. I think he's currently injured. I think he's actually dating Mi Chin on the WWE SmackDown roster. Aleister Black might come back to WWE. That'd be pretty badass. That'd be pretty cool. But nobody deserves this more than Triple H, Paul Levesque, and I definitely don't understand the people who think that who think otherwise. 1,010%. Triple H, Paul Levesque, started his career in WCW from 1993 to 1994 before ending his career in 2022 when he retired. He racked up a bunch of accolades, man. 16. I read somewhere that was like 14-time WWE champion. I always thought he was a 16-time. I thought him and Ric Flair were actually tied. But, like I said, I could be wrong. Intercontinental champion. He was also a European champion. Tag team champions as well. 1997 King of the Ring. 2002, 2016 Royal Rumble winner. And, of course, he founded the popular stables like D-Generation X. And it was like Evolution. And it was cool. It was great. And, it's something Triple H made. I grew up during Triple H's era in wrestling. I started watching during the Attitude Era. He was being groomed to be something bigger, something better. And he did. With the addition of WWE SmackDown, I think it was 2000. I think it was 2000. Him and The Rock constantly on, on the UPN network, Channel 13 basic cable. I used to watch that a lot. Hard for me to watch Monday Night Raw. Cable television, USA Network. And I was like, okay, what about the little guy? I'm just kidding. So I definitely watched a lot of SmackDown once when it started, once when it was created. And I thought it was pretty cool. He put so many superstars over by either defeating them or either losing to them. Like, it's crazy how this guy, even if you lose to him, you're going to be a big star. You've seen that, obviously, you've seen that with Batista, Randy Orton, you've seen it with Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, you've seen it with, John Cena, Shawn Michaels, even when he came back, he was fighting against Triple H, and once when Shawn defeated Triple H, and then he won his championship in the Elimination Chamber, I thought that was pretty cool. Chris Jericho, also another name, also a pretty badass name. The reason why people fell in love with the Mick Foley era was because of Triple H. There would be no Mick Foley if it wasn't for Triple H. Obviously, there would be, but he would never really come off as this huge baby face because Triple H was like the ultimate villain. When I see that Winged Eagle Championship, I think about Triple H. I'm sorry. I do. I think about him. That's the only person I think about. I do think about The Rock, but it was mostly made famous by Triple H. I really honestly don't really see how anybody could, kind of decide or kind of disagree with that. And look back at some of his title reigns when he defeated Mankind in 1999. Shane McMahon, obviously. Special guest referee Vince McMahon would later beat him 24 days later, doing what it takes for the company, doing what it takes, WrestleMania 18, defeating Chris Jericho, and then he dropped the title to Hogan 5 weeks later. Sorry, excuse me. The Judgment Day. We're going to take a quick break here. I got to totally...
Looking for your daily fix of...
Okay, sorry, excuse me. I got to totally cough right now, or I feel like I'm going to cough a lung, so I will be right back. Okay. Oh man, I was getting. Ooh, that was close. That was close. I might have, talking about, feeling, that sick feeling. Sometimes you just need a nice little thing of water. It's so crazy how great water is. Mm. Mm. Good old fashioned water. No, I'm serious. I'm gonna, quote unquote. I'm kind of struggling through this last, not last, but this segment here. Okay, like I said, Judgment Day 2000 versus The Rock in a 60-minute Iron Man match was one of my favorite matches to watch. Dropping the title back to The Rock. Their nice little back and forth rivalry was a huge thing in WWE. Definitely huge for upcoming fans. You did have that entertainment aspect of the Attitude Era, but ultimately it was him and The Rock that kind of put wrestling on the map. You had, like I said, you had that entertainment factor. You see these, like I said before, the exploitation of women. Earlier that the obvious. Thank God that's not the way it is right now. But I don't know. Triple H, Paul Levesque, he's great. He's great. He was great inside the ring, and he's great as a CCO. Another title reign that I definitely loved was his 10th World Championship reign in 2005, where he defeated Edge, Orton, Batista, Chris Benoit. Obviously, sucks what happened between him and Chris Jericho. So, and you saw those stars become big. Obviously, it's different with Chris Benoit, but if he was, if nothing would have happened, I feel like he would have been such a big thing in WWE. But it's we're never gonna find that out. It's crazy the way it did. Kind of crazy the way it went down. But but overall, focusing on some Triple H. But something that I definitely want to make clear is that WWE having this man headline the Hall of Fame is just it's just perfect. It's just perfect. I wouldn't want to see anybody else, kind of bring it in as a whole. Oh man, sorry guys, I'm struggling through this. I want to cough and hack a lung out, but let's see if we can try to get through this. We're gonna talk about WWE's LFG airing on A&E. We're gonna talk about what it is, what it means. Do I think it's gonna be a success? We're gonna talk about that when we come back. So hey, do not go absolutely anywhere.